I never thought a single drive home could unravel my entire life. My name's Lauren, and at 39, I've been coasting through a marriage that feels more like a habit than a home, trapped in a suburban cage of routine and silence. That chilly October night, under the ghostly flicker of a streetlight, I saw two strangers on the roadside, their desperate waves piercing through the monotony of my world. Against every instinct, I stopped, opened my door, and let them in, unaware that this one reckless choice would ignite a fire I couldn't extinguish. What happened next changed everything, but at what cost? Picture this. I'm behind the wheel, the hum of my old sedan vibrating through me as the world outside blurs into streaks of gray and amber. My name's Lauren, and at 39, I've carved out a life that looks just fine on paper. Married to Mark for 17 years. He's 42, a financial consultant with a steady gaze and steadier habits. We've nested in a quiet suburban pocket just outside a mid-sized city in Ohio, where the streets are lined with identical houses and the biggest thrill is a new neighbor's lawn decor. Our marriage? It's a well-worn sweater, comfortable, familiar, but fraying at the edges. Dinners unfold in front of the TV, our conversations clipped to the bare essentials. Bills, work, the occasional grunt of acknowledgement. That spark we had in our 20s. It's a distant memory, buried under years of routine. I work as a marketing coordinator at a local firm, a job that fills my hours but leaves my soul hungry. Every day, I drive the same stretch of highway home, flanked by strip malls and gas stations, their neon signs flickering like tired promises. Nothing ever happens here. The scenery is as predictable as my life, and some days I catch myself staring out the windshield, wondering if this is all there is. I'm not unhappy, not exactly, just stuck. There's an ache in me, a quiet yearning for something I can't name. A change, a jolt, anything to break the monotony. It was one of those chilly October evenings, the kind where the air bites just enough to remind you winter's coming, when I noticed them. Two figures on the side of the road, standing under the faint glow of a flickering streetlight, their silhouettes sharp against the dusk. I'm gripping the steering wheel of my silver Honda Civic, the soft hum of the engine blending with the low croon of a classic rock tune on the radio. My mind's elsewhere, replaying a mind-numbing meeting from earlier at the office, charts, deadlines, and the same recycled ideas. I'm already dreading another silent night at home, picturing Mark sprawled on the couch, probably snoring through some late-night infomercial. Just another evening in a string of predictable ones. As I near that dimly lit stretch of highway, my headlights catch them again. Ethan and Caleb standing there, hands raised like they're begging for a lifeline. My foot eases off the gas, and my heart starts thumping harder, a weird mix of wariness and intrigue knotting in my chest. I've seen people hitchhiking before, but something about these two feels different. I slow down, rolling my window just a crack, enough to call out and ask if they're all right. Ethan steps closer, his face coming into view under the weak light, rugged, tired, but with a friendly edge to his voice. He tells me they got ditched by a cab driver miles back over some petty fare argument. Caleb, quieter, just nods, his gaze locking with mine, a silent kind of desperation in his eyes that tugs at something deep inside me. My fingers hover over the door lock, every warning I've ever heard about strangers screaming in my head. Don't do it, Lauren. You don't know them. But then I look at their slumped shoulders, the way the cold seems to cling to them, and I can't just drive past. Something in me shifts, a flicker of recklessness I haven't felt in years. I unlock the doors, gesturing for them to hop in, my voice steadier than I feel. Ethan slides into the passenger seat with a grateful grin, while Caleb takes the back, murmuring a soft thank you that somehow feels heavier than it should. As I pull back onto the road, the weight of my decision settles over me. But there's also this strange thrill, like I've just stepped off a cliff and I'm waiting to see if I'll fall or fly. The drive to their place, a shared rental house on the edge of town, takes about 20 minutes, and every second of it feels like a departure from my usual script. The highway gives way to narrower streets, lined with sagging fences and overgrown yards, until we're rolling through a neighborhood that's seen better days. Ethan fills the silence with quips about their lousy luck with cabs, his voice rough but warm, teasing about how they've been cursed since the day they moved here. I can't help but chuckle, the sound surprising me. It's been months since I've laughed like that, so freely, like I'm not carrying the weight of a life I've outgrown. Caleb, quieter as always, opens up about a photo project he's been working on, capturing the beauty in forgotten places. His words are soft, almost reverent, and I find myself hanging on every syllable, drawn in by the passion in his tone. I'm not just listening. I'm feeling something stir inside me, a rush of excitement I can't pin down, like a door I didn't know was locked has just creaked open. I share bits of myself too, careful little pieces, my job in marketing, how I can lose hours watching grainy old movies on late-night TV. But I steer clear of anything about Mark, sidestepping that part of my story like it's a crack in the pavement I might trip over. It's not intentional at first, but the more we talk, the more I realize I don't want to bring him into this moment. This feels like mine, separate, here I am, sitting in Ethan and Caleb's dimly lit living room, the faint hum of a distant street lamp filtering through the cracked blinds. The air feels thick, heavy with something I can't quite name, as the conversation takes a turn I didn't see coming. We've been talking for hours now, long after I dropped them off, long after I should have headed home. The empty wine glass in my hand feels like a confession, the last sip still lingering on my lips, bitter and warm. Ethan leans forward, his eyes catching the low light, and asks me something that cuts straight to my core. Lauren, have you ever felt truly alive? Like, in a moment where everything just ignites? His voice is a quiet rumble, and it sends a shiver down my spine. I don't know how to answer, not really, but my heart is pounding so hard I'm sure they can hear it. Caleb, sitting closer now on the sagging couch, adds in that soft, deliberate way of his. I'm always drawn to people who take risks, the ones who aren't afraid to step over the edge. His words hang there, heavy, and I feel the weight of his gaze, like he's seeing parts of me I've kept buried for years. I take a shaky breath, the wine dulling the sharp edges of my nerves, but not the razor-sharp awareness of how wrong this feels. For the first time in hours, Mark flickers into my mind. My husband, probably sitting at home in our quiet, predictable house, waiting for me without a clue where I am. I picture his face, the way he'd look if he knew I was here, and a wave of guilt slams into me, cold and suffocating. But just as quickly, it's swallowed by the heat of this moment, the way the room seems to pulse with unspoken possibilities. I set the glass down, my fingers trembling, and mumble something about needing to get back, to get home before it's too late. I stand, my legs unsteady, but Ethan reaches out, his touch light on my arm, his voice low and almost pleading. Stay. Just a little longer. We don't want you to go just yet. His words pull me back, a tether I can't seem to cut, and I hesitate, my resolve crumbling like dry leaves underfoot. I'm standing there in Ethan and Caleb's living room, the dim light casting shadows across their faces, and I feel the weight of a choice I know I shouldn't make. My mind is a battlefield, screaming at me to leave, to drive back to the safety of my predictable life with Mark, but my heart, oh my heart, is racing with a hunger I haven't felt in years. I sit back down, slower this time, and the air between us shifts, charged with a current I can't ignore. Ethan moves closer, his presence overwhelming, and before I can think, his lips brush mine. A fleeting touch, hesitant, like he's testing the waters. I freeze for a split second, every alarm in my head blaring, but I don't pull away. Instead, I lean in and the kiss deepens, a rush of warmth and forbidden thrill coursing through me. It's like a dam breaking, all the pent-up longing I've buried for so long spilling out. Caleb watches for a moment, his eyes dark with something unreadable before he joins us, his hand finding mine, grounding me in this storm of sensation. I'm caught between them, overwhelmed by a wave of passion I thought I'd forgotten, a recklessness that makes my pulse hammer in my ears. It's not just the physical pull, though that's there, electric and undeniable. It's the way I feel seen, wanted, after years of fading into the background of my own life. My mind keeps trying to drag me back to reality, to Mark, to the vows I made all those years ago. This is wrong, Lauren. So wrong. I can almost see his face, the quiet trust in his eyes, and it cuts me deep. A jagged edge of guilt slicing through the haze of desire. But my body isn't listening, and my heart is too far gone, swept up in a storm I haven't felt since I was in my 20s, wild and untamed. It's not about the act itself. It's 2 a.m. when I finally pull into my driveway, the gravel crunching under my tires like a whispered accusation. The porch light is on, a soft yellow glow cutting through the darkness. Mark left it for me, like he always does when I'm out late. I sit there for a moment, engine off, hands still gripping the wheel, and a wave of shame hits me so hard it's like a punch to the gut. What have I done? The weight of the night presses down on me, every reckless choice replaying in vivid detail as I stare at that light, a beacon of a life I've just betrayed. I slip into the house quietly, the door creaking just enough to make me wince. The air inside is still, heavy with the familiar scent of our shared space. I tiptoe upstairs, careful not to wake Mark, and slide into bed beside him. His steady breathing fills the silence, a rhythm I've known for nearly 2 decades, and yet tonight it feels like a stranger's sound. I lie there, staring at the ceiling, unable to close my eyes. My mind is a relentless loop. Every touch, every whispered word, every stolen moment from hours ago plays on repeat. My skin still tingles with the memory of it, a forbidden warmth I can't shake, and the guilt gnaws at me, sharp and unyielding. The days that follow are a haze. I go through the motions, work, errands, dinners with Mark, but I'm not really there. I'm distant, a ghost in my own life, wrestling with a secret that feels like it's burning a hole through me. Should I tell him? Should I confess and let the truth shatter everything? Or do I bury it deep, pretend it never happened, and hope the weight doesn't crush me? I don't see Ethan or Caleb again, and I'm glad for it. Ethan sends a text a day or two later, just a simple, "You okay?" that I stare at for too long before letting it sit unanswered. I can't face them, can't face what I let happen. This night, this mistake, forces me to look at my marriage with brutal clarity. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.